Welcome to the 5-8, the show where we do 5 topics, 8 minutes each. LB, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I am. I'm pretty good. I'd like to, first of all, shout out to Chunk who does these graphics and sends us stuff, with just the little things from the week in there inserted, and does such a wonderful job of making it funny. I was thinking, it might just be the preponderance of coronaviruses in there. It's like there are all these creepy crawly things. There's the coronaviruses, there's Trump, there's Kushner, it's more and more, as it gets more and more populated, it looks more like an infestation,
Yeah,
and I think it's exactly what it is. It's perfectly emblematic of what we're dealing with. So yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything to add to that. It is the mood. It's like, it's always also sort of like a decision of, do we put the good guys in here? How do we put the good guys in here? But I think the good guys are in the room, in the salon with us, right?
That's the thing. And it's empty.
It's empty.
Which is
you just see some buzzing, some anonymous stuff in the background buzzing around.
You guys are coming. They're
I
coming.
think they're coming. They might fill up that space. What are you drinking tonight?
This is my standard Manhattan made with Rittenhouse rye. What are you drinking?
It's my standard beautiful water, filtered water in a nice glass. Ooh, with my lipstick already on it.
Okay, good. Shout out to everybody watching us instead of Herschel Walker making a fool of himself on TV. I was checking the feed before here, and apparently He was accused of impersonating a police officer, whereupon he pulled out a badge
Oh, did
in
he do it in a
violation of
cereal
debate
box?
protocols because you're not allowed to have a prop. And the moderator was like, "You can't have props." And he was like, "This isn't a prop; it's real." So I don't think he knows what that means, which is not. It's not a good look.
He doesn't know.
I don't. I actually
Props
don't
aren't
enjoy
real
people.
items. They're
Yeah,
imaginary,
yeah. I don't like
like
watching
NFTs and
people.
cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like people, making fools of themselves that way. We have a great guest tonight. We're not going to reveal who she is, but people will know.
People will
Will
know.
know.
I know. I was just
That's like
getting
a hint.
my 8-minute clock ready. We do 5 segments, 8 minutes each, and I think we should just jump in.
Well, a couple of things though.
Oh, you want a
front.
couple things?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's just a couple of short things
Okay.
that we can't hit because there's too much news this week.
Too much.
There's this Fetterman Dr. Oz business. This race.
Oh.
I just want to we don't have time to cover this in full, but Oz is now hitting at Fetterman because he had a stroke and is recovering from the stroke. And that seems to be also what the media is hitting him for, which is really ableist and awful. But I would just like to say, for the record, that they could cryogenically freeze John Fetterman and hang him on the wall like Han Solo in fucking Return of the Jedi, and he would still be a better senator in the United States than the Erdogan fluffing, puppy Dahmer murdering, quack Oz, who doesn't even live in fucking Pennsylvania. I just want to say that up front. Yeah. That's what I want to say.
And the foreign asset. I mean, I think that's.
It's probably not a good idea to have somebody that refuses to disavow his citizenship to a country run by a dictator who is chummy with Trump. That's probably bad.
Probably bad.
Probably bad.
Yeah. We've had enough of Mehmet. He needs to Mehmet, and it's interesting that is meme in his name.
No, because what's in his name is Meh. That's what's in his name. MEH.
Yeah. Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Anything else before that's not a segment?
I just want to say, no matter what happens, I'm never going to accuse you of having an IQ of 70 or call you an abortion bitch. It's never going to happen. I just want you to know. I feel so strongly about it.
I promise never to accuse you of being a spy.
Okay. Thank you. We're good.
Okay, good. All right. Cheers.
We're good. I'm a great spy. Never leave my house. Okay.
Me neither. But today, a little bit today.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Right. So I think top of everybody's mind is the insurrection.
Yeah.
And J6 and the committee. So what do you think? You watched it? What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is there's footage now also released of Pelosi on that day. And I think it's pretty clear there was this narrative that the Trumpies were trying to run about how Pelosi didn't do the job and this and that. And I think one takeaway from all of this is that Pelosi's did the job. I mean, she knew what she was doing. She was calm and cool and collected under pressure. She displayed enormous empathy for even the people that we don't like, and probably she personally doesn't like. And at the end of the day, when she was on the phone with Mike Pence, the vice president, who they were coming to murder, by the way, in case anyone, we have to keep saying this because it seems so ridiculous, but it's true. They were coming to kill the vice president. That's why they kept, and the way we know this is because they were shouting, "Kill Mike Pence, kill Mike Pence."
Right. Well, we know more about
Ashley Babbitt. That's what they were trying to do. And she said to Pence, "Don't let anybody know where you are." And I think that's important because Pence did not listen to Donald Trump. He did not listen to the Secret Service. You know who Mike Pence listened to when his life was on the line? Nancy Pelosi. That's who he listened to. And that really tells you all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you watched it? You were not alone when you watched it. What did you think?
I watch it with a group of people. We friends that I know Kathy Griffin, who's just an extraordinary woman who I met through mutual friends fairly recently when we started watching these January 6th hearings, and Allison Gill, of course, who also knows Kathy, and some other folks. Victor Shee, who was on our show. That's where I met Victor, who's just a lovely young man. Just folks that are very engaged, and we just want to watch it together. And there's a nice screening room, so we can watch it there. And I got to tell you, it's a very interesting experience. I had a different experience this time in that I was angry. I was angry. So I was quiet too. And I was seeing stuff because it was a review. So much of it was an hour and a half of really just a review with some new stuff because of the Secret Service emails. And I'm just sitting there and I was going over in my mind how for a year and a half, how badly we have been gaslit about this whole thing. And how people are just, when we go and we tune into what we're looking to with our fourth estate, or even, I'm sorry, even our Department of Justice in terms of a lack of communication, of just, we all saw it and we can all figure out, some of us know what the Donald.win is. Okay. There's no dark web, everybody. It's not like a dark corner that you can't find your kids. It's just a fucking web address. It's just a website or a posting board. I think there's this language around in the dark web. They were planning and plotting. No, it's just called the dark web because they do dark shit on their websites and in their channels of communication, whether it's Parler or the Donald.win or whatever it might be. But I'm telling you, your 5-year-old can find it on your cell phone in 2 seconds. It's not hidden under some cobwebs in some weird thing that a hacker has to get to, or some, the Department of Justice only knows because they've got FBI informants in there. No. Okay. So what do we know? Those of us who were looking there ahead of time, we were warning about this. We have a friend of the show who got horribly maligned afterwards because of his focus on QAnon. But he was the one, Jim Stewart was the one saying, don't go. I'm looking at these channels. I'm in these channels. We know what's going to happen on January 6th. They're trying to bait protesters to come in. It's part of some other orchestration. Oh, so there was orchestration. So you mean they had planning, as in they had plans, they had designs, they knew where they were going. Let's go all the way back to pre-election. Before the election, now we're watching. How many times have we all seen that Steve Bannon, the moral fucking zombie that is from rising from his crypt on fucking Halloween, October 31st, right? 2020, telling everybody this is what Trump is going to do if he doesn't win. He's just going to do this. And it sounds like it's just Steve Bannon going on a rant, but now we know they were all in very close communication. We have Mike Flynn in the White House with Sidney Powell concocting this crazy fucking scheme with the National Guard. There was executive orders from 2018 that were being pulled out and put down and say, this is what can justify you not calling out the National Guard. Trump had people replaced at the Department of Defense, right? To make sure that this sort of chain of command underneath him was so tightly gripped and controlled that when the fucking insurrection happened, weeks later, if not months later, because that was the planning, that they could hold back the National Guard so that they could burst into the Capitol to do what? Well, what are all the channels telling us they're planning on doing? Just what you said: killing lawmakers, bludgeoning, raping, dismembering.
Yeah.
Our lawmakers. They knew where they were going. They had fucking T-shirts, for Christ's sakes. They knew what they were doing. This was prepared. Then I want you to look at it as a live event. I was sitting there, thinking about the friends that I have that are in live event and production and film and television production. Do you know what it takes to organize? You got to get permits. They got permits. You have to have bands of people going everywhere. You have to know the maps and where you're going to put the stage. Where's the sound going to be the best? Where we're going to put the tent? What about the camera angles in the tent so that we can capture these things that we need? Oh my God, there was prepared media. There was prepared media for the January 5th, night before the big event. They all had hotel rooms. When did they book those? Way in advance. They knew where they were going and what they were doing. They even had fucking movies ready to go. How long does it take to make those movies? Well, even their crap shit that they do, they're still spending probably 4 to 6 weeks doing that. They've got to capture new audio. They've got to capture new video. They've got to cut it together. They've got to get clearance on the music. This takes time and effort and production and professionals. It's a coordinated event. Donald had one by himself. All right, so live event people. Think of even just fucking wedding planners. What is a wedding planner? How much time does it take to plan a wedding where you're only going to have 80 people show up at a location? The only thing they didn't have fucking ready to go and in weeks of their planning were the goddamn porta potties, because they wanted them to piss and shit all over the inside the Capitol on the floors. Yep. This is what fucking happened. This was a produced event. And they knew there was blood. Why is Trump sitting there watching the whole thing, doing nothing? What was he waiting for on the television? He was waiting for them to finish the fucking job. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Let's not forget Rudy fucking Giuliani and Jenna Ellis, right? And all the other fucks and fucking the Supreme Court justice's wife planning all this shit with the courts. And having Rudy do these staged fucking things in these Marriotts as if they were town halls, and he was really, or he's at a hearing, a grand jury, like he would do this pretend shit. That shit had to be set up, coordinated, permitted, transportation, fucking rooms, right? So hotel rooms, because they were on a tour. They were on a fucking tour for the electors. The electors themselves, these fake fucking electors. I'm sorry, I'm still fucking going.
No.
These fake fucking electors, right? Had rehearsals. They had physical rehearsals for the performance for the day. They knew where they were going, what they were doing, what their agenda was. It was statewide. It was nationwide. There was coordinated travel, coordinated event, coordinated production, coordinated setting up. And we're supposed to believe that this was, nobody could see this coming? That these people just fucking, you know, oh, they kind of, the crowd just got, oh, they just went in there, but we can't say he incited anything. Oh, it was just, it turned into a thing. Fuck no. And when you're in those fucking channels, which is why Jim Stewartson was telling everybody, don't go on there the day, because he could tell that they were there to murder. And now we have the fucking emails from the Secret Service saying, warning the president, warning everyone in the administration, days ahead of time, they are coming to kill lawmakers. So now I want you to know this about me. I've mentioned this on the show before. I had a family member that was murdered. It's very different when you lose a family member to violence, to murder. Murder's different. We started the day before we saw this last hearing with the Parkland, right? Thursday started with the Parkland, with the sentencing of the fucking mass killer, right? And damaging those parents. You have no idea what that's like to go through that. You have no idea what that's like to sit in a fucking thing, whether you're in the courtroom or over the Zoom, and that they let us into now because of COVID, and stare at the killer of your loved one and wait for justice patiently. Meanwhile, up pops on your iPhone, you know, the last fucking video that you took, and you're seeing your murdered loved one as if they're right there again. So I want everybody to kind of use your imagination right now. This is an imagination exercise. Now that we just went through a very brief overview, there was way more coordination planning than what I was able to just rattle off at the top of my fucking head. That's how fucking much there is. I could do that spontaneously. I want you to use your imagination. Everyone use your imagination and imagine that line of Capitol Police and Metropolitan Police didn't hold. And that everyone that we just watched begging for their lives, trying to lead through this moment where they had negotiating with their own goddamn domestic terrorists that are part of this whole goddamn thing, this murder plot, this mass murder plot to overthrow, so they could overthrow democracy. They're fucking negotiating with the plotters and planners. Please help us fucking save our goddamn lives. Imagine if that line hadn't hold. Use your imagination and think about what you would have been watching on that screen, because that's what I was thinking about. Holy shit, all those people almost died, and we would have known they were died. And now, because that footage would have survived, we would be watching dead people begging for their lives. You want to use your imagination? Use it like that. Get everybody out that you know to vote. Vote all these motherfuckers out. They planned a mass murder is what they planned. That's it. I can't. I'm so angry about it, Greg. I'm so fucking angry.
We should be.
I'm so angry.
We should be. We all should be.
Come out of it.
You know, thank you for sharing all of that. I didn't know you were going to get personal about it, but I think that you're right, and you're right about him watching the fucking thing. You know what it reminded me of when you were talking was MBS watching the fucking Khashoggi getting chopped up, right? Because there was closed circuit TV there too. That's
right.
That's who these people are.
That's who they are.
They're they're
mob
psychopaths,
bosses.
sociopaths,
No, no.
and they get off on it.
They're mob bosses.
Yeah.
They're watching their hits. They're planning and plotting hits, and they're sitting there watching it, making sure that their lieutenants get it done.
Yeah.
There were fucking militias there, ready to go in a stack with plans and maps, knowing exactly where to breach the Capitol. I didn't even touch on that. And those motherfuckers are already going down for seditious conspiracy.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, we also found out about the Secret Service. The Secret Service is fucked, obviously.
Fuck
Just
them. I think
corrupt,
they were fucked.
fucked. But the Secret Service swept the locations and did not find the pipe bomb at the DNC, where Kamala Harris was going that day.
Yeah.
So we should throw that out there too. You know, she was also in that building. There was a lot of people that they could have hit that day and that they were trying to hit that day. And, you know, you're never going to tell me that they wanted anything other than a fucking bloodbath.
Bloodbath. I don't want to hear anything like we can't disparage this. Oh, we don't disparage about. No, we must. We must now. It's up to them to clean out their own house. We'll clean out what we can. Sorry, guys. We'll clean out for my microphone. We'll clean out what we can at the voting booth. We'll do what we can. We certainly don't have a voice in the absolute gaslighting horseshit that's been coming at us 24/7 from our fourth estate. I mean, I just couldn't get past that as I was sitting there watching that. And everyone's like, you know, we'll talk about that room later. That's a fastball room, boy. You got to be fast in that room of watchers that I'm with. We're in there with professional comedians, fucking brilliant actors, with like writers. It's like, be prepared. These people and they are tracking it and following it and can do exactly what I just did. Right. So we'll talk about that later. Like, cause I was so paralyzed by rage. I couldn't even talk.
Well, I'm glad you saved it for tonight. You know, I think everybody is based on
okay. Well, you guys all got it all.
Yeah. This is
thank
good.
you. Oh my God. You guys, people are giving us tips and donations. I just love that you guys are doing that. It's very surprising to us. So we don't put it up on screen because we don't expect this, but thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. I appreciate that. We appreciate the support. We really do.
We do.
Okay. All right. Next topic.
Quick note.
Yeah.
On one last thing. One of the other things that we saw was Pelosi talking to Chris Miller. Sandy Bacon, our friend, has been on Christopher Miller from the beginning because he's the only guy other than Trump that can deploy the National Guard in DC.
Yeah.
He failed to do so. And after our guest, Victor, she was on, I had people in the comments brought it up last week, and I didn't want to ask him because the episode would have been 3 hours long, but
I know.
I wanted to go back, and I had not listened yet to the interview that Victor and Jill Wine-Banks did with Christopher Miller on their podcast. And he is such a fucking dick. I mean, my God. Victor asks him a completely innocuous question at the beginning, and he bites his head off. He's condescending. He's arrogant. He can't believe he's there. And I recognize the voice listening to Pelosi speaking, and she's saying, "How long will it take to clear the room?" And he's like, "Well, I can't speak for the people on the ground." And it's like, that's like saying, "Hey, my friend is drowning. You're a lifeguard. Can you come help?" And the head lifeguard being like,
not just,
"Well, you know, I'm not in charge of that area of the pool, you know, This is the worst possible guy. That type is the worst type to have in charge of anything, especially during a crisis. I don't know if he's just useless or in on it or both, but my God, what a contemptuous, arrogant, smug, traitorous asshole. That's another takeaway of mine. Okay, moving on.
Those are our takeaways. They're none of it good. Unfortunately, none of it good.
You're right. I feel bad. You're only having water now. You good?
No, I can only have water. Come on.
I know. I know. It's hot in Los Angeles.
It's hot. It's a little, it's muggy. It got cooled off and then it got muggy. So it's weird when it's muggy here. It's weird.
It's muggy in Los Angeles.
My hair is like literally, it's going to be fun. All right. Okay. Next.
We'll do this quick. Okay.
Let's do this quick. Okay. Muscovites. What could you mean by Muscovites?
You know, one of I ranted about this on my podcast, and I'm not going to repeat it to length, but one of the nice things, the silver linings of this period of time is that, as I like to say, the traitors are easy to spot. Elon Musk is now a full-on traitor between the fluffing to the Xi and the fluffing for Putin. this guy, he's on a, it's disgusting and it's obvious. And anybody that's still supporting him is mad and needs to get the fuck over themselves. I don't think he's ever been anything, but even if he was before, he isn't anymore. He is a complete traitor, period. And anything that he says at this point should be understood to be propaganda from
Yeah.
Moscow and from Beijing.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what he's doing at this point. He's basically trolling Zelensky and the Ukrainian foreign minister during this horrible war. It's like, it would be like, you know, trolling the residents of Paris after like the Nazis invaded. I mean, it's that level of bad.
Yeah.
That's who this guy is.
Yeah.
So I had one more share of Tesla stock left, and I fucking unloaded that shit 2 weeks ago.
Good.
Yeah. I had unloaded it before because you had to, because it's fucking, this guy's tanking everything. So, you know, and Gary Steingart, the novelist, said it today. It's not enough just to buy Teslas. Everybody unload the stock. The stock must crash. The price must go down, because this is where his fucking money's coming from to avoid the Twitter thing. Speaking of Twitter, okay.
Yeah.
And again, you know, back to Jim Stewartson. That's not what I want to do. This is what I want to do, for pointing this out. There are other people besides Elon Musk that are carrying water for bad guys.
Yeah.
This is one of them. This guy, he blocked me years ago, so I never.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Blocked?
Right around the time that WikiLeaks blocked me. The WikiLeaks block is my best ever.
That's right. I forgot. That is your best one.
It's untoppable.
Yeah, untoppable.
Okay, let's just this. What Jack here likes to do. He's kind of a if you observe what he's writing, a lot of times he's workshopping ideas for how they're going to attack Biden and attack the Dems and attack people that care about democracy. So, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia confirms. I don't give a fuck what they confirm. Okay, Biden attempted to coerce them. To postpone oil cuts until after the midterms, announced they have rejected his quid pro quo. Note that phrase, quid pro quo, because he's echoing the Trump-Zelensky thing. This is not the same fucking thing, okay? It's not the same thing, and it's not going to work. I don't think this kind of thing is going to work, because I like to think, I know you think that I'm mad here. I like to think that the American people are smart enough to realize that the Saudis are not our friends. And I think most Americans don't like the Saudis as a general rule, because they kind of remember 9/11 and reading the people that were involved in that. And a lot of them happen to be citizens of Saudi Arabia, and remembering that, oh my God, bin Laden's family flew out the day before, the next day, whatever it was. And there's files that are closed that we're not allowed to see. And you know, Bush and the Saudi government, the House of Saud. Craig Unger wrote a book about it. There's lots going on there. And then there's the Khashoggi thing, and this fucking MBS guy who's just basically I think probably inbred and a psychopath who gets off on this stuff. And these are not people that we want to be allies with. So good on Biden for doing this. I'm glad Biden's doing this. If you are rooting, okay, if you're rooting for the Saudis instead of President Biden, there's something wrong with you. And I advise you to leave. Just leave the country. Just move somewhere else. There's plenty of dictatorships that will take you in. Russia's really lovely. I'm sure that, you know, if you can get an apartment that has a functional toilet, I'm sure it's great. Ed Snowden probably needs a roommate. Saudi Arabia is lovely, lovely place if you're a guy who's Muslim and have money, and maybe not great if you're a woman or gay or not a Muslim. But, you know, if you're those other things, it's a wonderfully freewheeling place where you're free to express your, oh wait, you can't say anything because they'll like chop your hand off and shit. Saudi Arabia didn't make slavery illegal till the 60s. The 1960s, not the 1860s. These are bad. This is a bad government. It's a bad. Those are bad guys.
It's the bad guys.
Sorry,
They're the mustache twirling bad guys. They're the cartoon bad guys. I like how he had to put kingdom. There's a whole monarchy thing going on that they're doing, because it's sort of like, we have to have our kings now and our queens, and you know, and so anything about democracy, because monarchy and democracy are, you know, I don't think that they should or could coexist. I know that we have allies who believe that they can, but it's ruling over. Like, oh, it's respect being ruled over. So that's all part of it. The other thing is that particular individual and a lot of his cohorts, sort of chaos agent cohorts, are, this is just the Steve Bannon, Roger Stone crew, right? And some of them would, take umbrage to that because they think that they're bigger than that, or they somehow are self-defined, but they're not. This is just, Breitbart's ass pimples.
Bright farts.
Yeah. Bright farts. Farting out. And dangerous, though, because they are radicalizing people. This is part of how this is the radicalization machine. This is the coordinated content. So if something's happening around Saudi Arabia, is sort of what that cues you, because they do their offensive bullshit strike, right? Of like, all of a sudden we're in here, we're trying to, right, and get Biden and say the Saudis are really the ones that, and Biden, the evil Biden, or the incompetent Biden, or the geriatric Biden, whatever the fuck, right? But we're going to be on the side of the Saudis. Now you think that these folks will somehow, that this will somehow turn some people off, or they'll kind of won't go for it. Yeah. I'm saying to you, no. They'll love it. They love it. They'll embrace that. They'll embrace this. I just went through a litany of what they watched. These are the people who actually went into the Capitol, and this is the same mindset. These are the same brains. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They don't care about 9/11. They don't care. They're
the cosplay to dress like that and dance with the sword and do the orb. I mean,
they love that. It's a convention. It's a convention for murderers.
It's like furries. I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah, and cryptocurrency.
All right, we have lots of people. Did we get super stickers tonight? Lots of people are giving us super stickers.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We don't know. We're new to this thing, so
we don't even know how to get our money from YouTube.
I'm just a kid.
Don't stop supporting us. We'll figure it out.
This new super sticker is, I don't understand. Yeah, it's good. Okay, it's time. I think. Right? Did you have any more points about Muscovites?
I really don't. I think we're gonna
I don't want to talk
leave
about
it for our guests, because it's just so gross to talk about them on any level. But
it's time for
good for everybody. Keep your eyes peeled. Know that there's more chaos coming from these horrible people.
So. Yeah, and shout out Jim Stewartson and Gal Suburban for alerting us to this thing. So
yay! Okay, good.
Okay, this is the shortest ever karaoke that we're ever going to do.
Oh, karaoke!
I think it's great. Okay. Maybe people might not know the song. I don't care. It's fine.
I think they'll learn it.
Yeah, I think so. If I had $1 million, 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 if I had $1 million. I'd be $966 million richer than Alex Jones.
Okay. So you missed a little crawl on the bottom. We forgot to turn off the thing.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll play it at the end for everybody again without the crawl.
It's 966 because he owes 965 million. So if I had $1 billion, that's it. That's the joke. It's dumb. It's a dumb karaoke. Okay. She's been waiting long enough, LV. She's been waiting long enough. Our guest is one who knows things, the Sybil of the oracle of all of the fuckery.
All of the fuckery. Yeah.
The co-founder with you of Cicerno.
That's true.
She's been on this for years and years. The original digger into of Maggie Haberman's hijinks.
Yes.
Boy, that looks good now. Right?
Yes. She has yet to have a thing not stand up.
Yeah. It's almost like she knows what she's talking about. Catherine Louise Neufeld, you know her as Lou New. How are you?
Lou!
Hi. You got 2 for the price of 1.
All right, who are we looking at? Now, I know this little guy, but
this is Tito. My Twitter handle is Nina and Tito, which I named after my 2 pups at the time. Nina has since passed away, but Tito's still going. He's still going strong, and he wanted to be part of today's show. So here he is.
Good.
All right, and Tito, I know
I have Tito also.
Oh, you have Tito. I just have
That's good.
Tito will also get a costume this Halloween. Is this happening again?
So Tito is a 3-legged Chihuahua. You can see his little stump right there.
Oh.
That's it.
And his best friend is a Chihuahua named Stanley, and Stanley just lost his eye, unfortunately, due to an eye infection. He had to have surgery. So Stan and Tito are going to be pirates for Halloween, and I'm going to make a peg leg for Tito and an eye patch for Stan and ruffly white blouses, and they're going to be pirates.
I love it so much. Okay.
That's great. I was thinking something more Dickensian, but that works better. I think it's good. I think it's like
I have to say,
house or something. Yeah.
I just met a one-eyed dog a couple of days ago named Wink.
Oh, cute.
It's the greatest dog name ever.
Perfect.
All right, so that's our visit. Sorry, guys, we visited before, but it's never enough. We can't. We just all we love each other so much.
It's good.
So good to have you here. So you have spook-ulation is the name. We're coming at because you have a speculation you want to share with everyone, and we're
talking about before we get to the spook-ulation. We're talking this involves Tom Barrack, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so before we go into the speculation, just because there's a lot of names, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of stuff went on this week. Just remind everybody who Tom Barrack is and why the trial that's happening now and why it's important.
Perfect. That is perfect. Tom Barrack is Donald Trump's billionaire bestie. They've been friends since the 1980s when there were some strange financial shenanigans going on with the Plaza Hotel in New York City, approximately 1 mile from my apartment. There were some financial shenanigans going on with Donald trying to buy the Plaza Hotel. Tom Barrack was involved. That's how they became friends. They were both fucking around in New York real estate. Tom Barrack was involved in the inauguration committee, which, if you remember, is being investigated for fraudulent use of funds. He is the guy who recommended Paul Manafort to Donald Trump for becoming his campaign manager guy. And Tom Barrack and Paul Manafort go back even farther than Tom Barrack and Donald Trump do. Tom Barrack met Paul Manafort in the 1970s when they were living in Beirut and working in Saudi financial interests. So Tom Barrack, he is Donald Trump's exact age. He's in his 70s. And I believe he was born in the US. His parents were of Lebanese descent, and he is Christian. He likes to talk about how Catholic he is. So he is a US citizen who has been working for Saudi/other Middle Eastern interests for
the Emiratis a lot. Yeah, a lot for the Emiratis.
At least 50
and
years.
Qatar.
Yep. And so he's currently on trial for acting as basically for lobbying on behalf of the United Arab Emirates. And the guy he was co-charged with two guys. One is a guy named Al Malik, who they are saying was a representative of the United Arab Emirates. And one is a guy who worked for his company, who was an assistant, who was like 22 at the time and didn't know any better. And Tom Barrack he's on trial for basically lobbying for the interests of the United Arab Emirates in exchange for basically a shitload of money going into his investment fund. Tom Barrack he's like generally a scumbag. He totally profited from the housing crisis in 2008. His company was like buying up swaths and swaths and swaths of foreclosures. He's just all around a complete dirtbag.
I think he's the one that inspired my term fucketeer, right? I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's how we met at doing research, because I was like, look at Tom Barrack, everybody.
Yes.
And because I happen to know some things. And he has yet again another prognostication that is holding up over time.
He also, if you go to the free part of Jared Kushner's book, he does mention Tom Barrack and how they clicked because he expected Tom Barrack to be bad, but he liked Tom Barrack.
Right.
So,
Tom Barrack is the guy who introduced MBS to Donald Trump and therefore to Kushner. And if you remember, what was Donald Trump's first foreign state visit of his presidency?
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Normal presidents go someplace that's an ally. Donald Trump went to fucking Saudi Arabia. And why did that happen? My guess is because Tom Barrack and Jared Kushner had a little side agreement to make that happen. So that's the deal there.
All right. So we've got the trial going on.
Yep.
What is your spook-ulation or speculation that you want everyone to know now? Because we have a new thing from you, right? Of what you think, and they've all sort of really panned out. So, but making sure everybody knows that this is just speculation. What is it?
Yep. So
What's
my
the game?
speculation is that, okay, let me give you some history, a little bit of historical backstory to explain why this is my speculation.
Okay.
If you look into a report that was put out by Elijah Cummings and the Oversight Committee, the Congressional Oversight Committee in 2019, and I'll tweet it out later tonight so you have it fresh. I call it the Cummings Report. It is a report that was created by the staff of the Oversight Committee because whistleblowers came to Elijah Cummings and said, hey, people are trying to get the White House to allow them to sell nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia via a rather interesting plan to buy Westinghouse, the U.S. corporation, using United Arab Emirates and Saudi funds. But in order for the controlled foreign asset investment controls to be passed, meaning companies can, like foreign-owned companies cannot own technology that controls certain technologies that the U.S. government has deemed extremely important, and nuclear technology is one of those things.
Oh,
So
imagine that. Just a little nuclear technology on the side. Yes.
Correct. So the plan was to basically bring nuclear technology, claiming it was nuclear energy technology, to Saudi Arabia by purchasing this American company with Middle Eastern money, but with enough U.S. ownership for it to pass the foreign asset controls process. Okay.
Okay.
So that report came out in 2019. So in that report is a guy is mentioned. Well, two guys are mentioned. Tom Barrack is mentioned and Al Malik is mentioned. Al Malik is the guy who is like was co-indicted with Tom Barrack for being a representative of the United Arab Emirates. In this report, it says that the Congressional Oversight Committee believes that Al Malik was operating in the interests of both the United Arab Emirates and the Saudis to get this nuclear technology to the Middle East. So what's the speculation, right? So I don't know if you guys remember, but the FBI raided Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah, there was something.
Yeah.
They had a search warrant, so they did their legal search.
Correct. It wasn't really a raid. It was more like a, hey, we've been fucking telling you to give us these fucking documents for 2 fucking years. Give us the fucking documents or we're going to come get them. So they went and got the documents, and lo and behold, there were some classified documents hidden in Donald Trump's desk drawer next to his passport. Right. And the Washington Post got the scoop that some of the super, super secret classified documents were related to the nuclear capabilities of foreign countries.
Okay. Okay.
So what was Tom Barrack working on?
Yeah. That.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was working on selling U.S. nuclear technology to the Saudis with money from United Arab Emirates and the Saudis and other various investments. And there was some, let's say it, quid pro quo going on in terms of setting up meetings with Jared Kushner and whatnot, because Tom Barrack was also working on bailing Jared Kushner out of 666 Fifth Avenue at the same time.
Right. That's right.
Which happened with Qatari money, ultimately.
Correct. And he had represented Qatar for many, many years. Yes. So, you know, and when people are like on trial for like not registering as a foreign agent, rather than the Justice Department kind of just pressuring them, especially if they're powerful people, especially if they're connected and in with a former president, it would generally be, you know, you got to register. Just register, pay a fine. But that's not what they did with this guy. No, they like, you a spy. We're coming for you. And, you know, and he's on trial. So I think as there have been a lot of kid gloves, he didn't get the kid glove treatment at all.
Correct.
At all. So, and this is a guy, and I've said this on the show before. This is a man who has cards to play. This is a man who was also close with Epstein. This is a man who's been in this dirty trick business, had one foot in it. Not he's a dirty trickster himself, but those are his running buddies.
Yeah.
That's who he's trucking with. And why they need him is he's got his foot, however, like an octopus and every single, Emirati, Saudi Arabia, all these nation states around oil. And what are they all shifting to? They're trying to shift away and out of oil and into new technologies. And we should just all be, those are just things on the radio. And a lot of it was Hollywood and content. This is why Jared Kushner, Tom Barrack introduced MBS to Jared Kushner. Jared Kushner turned right around and went on a tour with this guy through Silicon Valley, through Hollywood, through New York, introducing him to everybody he could in media. It's gross what these folks have been up to.
It's really gross.
Again, something else that we can sit here and go boom, 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 and chart its progress over years. And impossible to get anybody to pick it up and like treat it as a proper story. I don't know if it's from corporate attorneys just stifling everybody's voices or what's going on.
It's because it's a very complex story. It's not something that you can just be like, Who'sy Whatsits had sex with Bluesy Whatsits. Oh no.
They were
Entertainment Tonight. This is like there were these complex financial plans to transfer this arcane technology to countries that most people don't even know what they're called. And all these random people who nobody remembers who they are, their names are involved. And
who knows? Yeah,
exactly. And this story has been going on because I was looking back in prep for this show. Tito, come on, give me my headphones. Thank you.
You don't have something to say?
Tito is pissed that I'm not paying attention to him, even though I'm cradling him in my arms. The oversight committee report that came out in 2019, if you go back to 2017, Elijah Cummings wrote a letter to Trey Gowdy, who was then the chair of the oversight committee, because the Republicans were still majority until 2018. Elijah Cummings wrote a letter, made it public in December 2017 to Trey Gowdy saying, I want to talk to, we should be deposing Mike Flynn, Bud McFarland, KT McFarland, who was
This is the KT McFarland thing. That's right.
Tom Barrack.
That's right.
All these people, because a whistleblower had gone to Elijah Cummings and said, there is something going on with people trying to sell nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia in December of 2017. Okay. And Tom Barrack is now on trial when? October of 2022. 5 years later.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not to forget that Mike Flynn was texting about all this, right? During the inauguration.
Yes. During the inauguration. Yep.
So
all that shit.
This wheel's grinding a little too slow for me.
It's grinding super slow.
But it's grinding. It is grinding.
It is grinding. And it's grinding up some nasty old men, which is great.
Yeah.
So to just lay it out there, my spook-ulation is that the nuclear documents that were discovered at Mar-a-Lago are connected to the attempt to sell nuclear technology to the Middle East.
Wow.
That's my speculation. We'll find out eventually. Yeah. Maybe not for 50 years, but we'll find out someday.
Like our friend Allison Gill would say, put beans on it.
Yeah. Put some beans on it.
That's what she is. Okay, a couple quick data points here just to bring up. You mentioned Flynn and the nuclear. I remember that the inauguration was about Flynn and selling nuclear secrets, not nukes, like the nuclear technology to do energy and whatever. Okay, it's important,
which can be transformed into weapons. That's the thing. Right. That's what people need to understand. Is that nuclear energy? You can use nuclear fuel. I mean, what now happens is we have these agreements with Russia, which I don't know if they're being enforced, but we turn old nuclear weapons into nuclear fuel for nuclear energy. You can also use nuclear energy supplies to turn into nuclear weapons. That's why this is so important. It's the same fucking technology, just supersonic.
That's exactly what it is. And so and
if you have, go ahead.
I was just saying, Gal Suburban has also done some stuff on this to look at what she's been trying to bring to people's attention about the small nuclear reactors and that technology. So again, energy technology under the Department of Energy technology, which is why our nuclear stockpile of weapons is also under the Department of Energy, because it's the same science. It's just, at different end results. So again, everybody, when you hear about the Mar-a-Lago stuff, think technology, not weapons. It's important to bring that word in. because these chaos agents, like we were just going over, these Muscovites are going to go. They all think there's nuclear weapons. See, there's not any nuclear weapons in any of the classified docs. There wasn't any nuclear weapons. You all thought he was selling nuclear weapons. It's like, no.
Right. It's nuclear capabilities. Yeah, it's nuclear capabilities is the wording that we should be focusing.
But why would they want that? It's not like if you have nuclear weapons, NATO will just ignore you and let you invade a foreign country without any repercussions at all.
Okay, we're going to go off on that. Yeah, that's the way to get out of this segment. Yeah, that's
we're not going to go off on that. I have a couple more data points real quick. Okay.
Yes.
There's the Flynn thing. Eric Prince lives in the UAE. I suspect Kushner will wind up there, as will Trump. I also suspect that MBZ, who's the head of UAE, is actually more powerful and much smarter than MBS. MBS is like the outside guy, and MBZ is the inside guy, and that's kind of how the relationship works.
Yes.
I suspect he seems to be the one that the cognoscenti are pointing to as being the real fucketeer, Nucleus Ultra in this whole thing. And Westinghouse, does Westinghouse still own, like, they used to own either CBS or NBC? Did they still?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's really convoluted. There was some whole thing happening with, like, they were trying to get, okay, so we're going to go down my favorite rabbit hole, which is all the fucking stupid. Hold on. Here's this one.
I know about Westinghouse and these things because of.
There we go. Capital. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm a capital.
Because of David Letterman.
Put that out there.
Doing jokes in the early 90s. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
We're in like extreme capitalism. And so basically like Apollo and BlackRock and all those fuckers who they're all friends with Donald Trump, and they were all like a lot of them were like compromised by Jeff Epstein and stuff.
Yeah.
They were involved in this attempt, or this like supposed attempt to purchase Westinghouse. Like they were trying to get like Tom Barrack was like talking to these guys.
It's like Pan Am. There's certain companies everybody wants to buy that's in this soup of foreign fuckery and intersection of the world beneath us.
Because of the foreign asset control stuff, you can't have a company that's majority foreign owned be selling nuclear technology or in control of nuclear technology. So what Tom Barrack was doing was he was trying to marry this Middle Eastern money with US source capital in order to make the company that was in control of the nuclear technology a majority US owned.
Right. To skirt around regulations and oversight. Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
Yep.
They're just fuckers.
One more point. I think this is important. Valerie, thank you. Somebody else brought this up before. Is Rick fucking Perry?
Department of Energy.
He's also a name.
And he's also named in the oversight committee reports because
he's in Elijah Cummings' report.
He was not good on Dancing with the Stars. He and Vanilla Ice formed a real bond. It's interesting. Favorite. If you watch Dancing with the Stars, you get a sense of who these people are. He's a moron. That's the sense. Yeah. He's dumb.
He wore glasses to try to make everybody think he was smart, but it didn't work.
He's not.
Okay.
Oh.
I remember that.
One more. Look at that mugshot. Look at that.
I just want you to see my favorite thing that Tito does.
Yes.
That is enormously cute.
I love him.
Tito, do you have anything to add? Can you make him bark on command?
No, he doesn't. He's not really a barker.
Good. That's good because, New York, you don't want that. So
exactly.
Much. Or anywhere, really. One more thing. The Saudis and these Middle Eastern countries like tripping over themselves to try to get nuclear technology. Guys, we invented this in 1944. Like maybe improve your education system and you'll figure it out on your own. Maybe let women go to school and stuff. Maybe study shit. You dumb fucks. That's it. That's what I have to say. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have much. All
right, we're gonna move on.
Are we
moving on? I'm making the call.
It's announcements time.
I thought announcements were after 4.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, we're only on 3. Okay.
Yes.
We're going on. That's fine.
We're moving on. And I'm starting the clock. Okay, so jonesing. We got to get to this, everybody. Alex Jones. Oh, man. I don't know. I mean, I think okay. At first, I want to tie it back around to the depravity that's happening in our first 2 segments. Alex Jones is a key player in that. So this man, it's not just that he had this stupid InfoWars show and his weirdo vitamins and horrible stories with his ex-wife, and terrorized families of murdered children for what is it? It's a decade now, right? For a decade. This man is also deeply involved with the insurrection, deeply involved with a mass radicalization and propaganda effort in the United States to peel off a large enough portion of our society, of our population, scramble their brains with conspiracy and nonsense, agitate them into that frontal lobe part of their brain with all kinds of very carefully structured semantics to get people whipped up into a frenzy, to get them angry, to keep them in that state of anger and fuck up their parasympathetic system, right? So that they'll do things like, we're going to march on the Capitol, go in and commit mass murder.
It's
And it denies mass murder.
Yeah, it's infectious misanthropy.
Yes, it's contagion.
Yeah,
it's contagion of everything of the disease within that human being, within that human being's soul and brain, and it comes out of his mouth, and it infects. That it's contagious. It just multiplying.
And what's the main vector?
You tell me. The what?
Facebook.
Yeah. Facebook. Yeah. Facebook enables it. YouTube enabled it for a while. So, the technology gave this guy a foothold in our society to bring this corrosive, deadly, infectious thinking and mindset, so that we would end up tearing one another apart. Oh, there's Brett. Facebook is a disinformation platform. I just call it Russian malware. I think that's more to the point. But yes, Brett knows what he's talking about. So it's hard for me to, it's okay to celebrate that this guy, that the courts, he couldn't get past, and money is where these people get hurt. Go after their money. It may not feel like justice to us, but believe me, to him, that's what he cares about.
That's the only thing they care about.
His kids. He doesn't. Yeah. I don't even know if he cares about his freedom. Maybe. I'm sure he's terrified of prison. But that wasn't on the table for him. What is on the table for him is you're going to lose it all, buddy. You took this toy, and you hurt people with it.
Wait.
And it's time to come and take your toys away.
Is $965 million losing it all?
The crazy thing is, if it's not, it seems like He
has another one coming.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, this is a win. Let's
celebrate.
And I was
waiting, honestly, my response to it was, there's going to be some fucking appeal and he's going to declare bankruptcy. But Rich Signorelli said, no, that you can't declare bankruptcy in this, but this is like the scarlet letter that's been branded onto his fucking chest, and any dime that he makes for the rest of his life is going to be turned over. So he's done. In terms of a money-making operation, he's finished. He's kaput. He is owned. Now, let me rephrase. The ownership has transferred from the bad guys and the fucketeers to the victims, the families of
survivors.
And it's like, and
of his terror. These are domestic terrorists.
Fucking stupid, fucking dumbass shit.
Well, we don't really know what it's all for. He's actually kind of a mysterious guy. I'm sorry. There's a lot of weird gray area in his background.
I have a theory.
Oh, let's hear it.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Right. I don't know if I knew, but I have a theory on what this is. If you go back and read about the KGB's attempts to destroy the United States, the goal was to destroy us from within.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the best way to destroy us from within? To make our society as sick and broken as the USSR Soviet society was, which was people informing on one another, nobody trusting one another, absolutely zero sense of community, blah, 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 blah. So I'm not saying Alex Jones is a Soviet agent. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that when you have a foreign enemy whose goal is to destroy you from within, they are going to promote and support and highlight the people who are encouraging infectious misanthropy, as I'm now going to call it forever. which is what Alex Jones is. And so you can see like someone like Jack Posobiec, who you guys were talking about before, like Jack Posobiec obviously does not have the US interest at heart. What does he do? He promotes Alex Jones. So people who we know are working for foreign, or who, I mean, he said that he was being the mouthpiece for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So like, dude, first of all, go file a FARA, but also you're clearly speaking for a foreign government. People who are working in the interests of foreign countries who want to destroy the US are gonna
anti-democratic interests.
Yeah, they're going to promote the voices that are spreading this infectious misanthropy that causes the breakdown of civilization, right? That's right. The goal, is to break our society, to break our community ties, to, ruin American culture, which like American culture, like, come on, let's be honest.
To radicalize. Yeah.
But yeah, it's a radicalization engine. Yeah. And so I'm not saying that, Alex Jones is working for the Soviets or whatever. No, but if you go back and read what was the Cold War all about, they were trying to break our culture.
Right.
And people like Alex Jones are literally breaking our culture.
Incredibly useful to that end. He's a means to that end. And so
he may not be their tool. Like he may not have been forged by them, but he's definitely being used as a hammer.
Oh, they're picking him up and swinging him around like a dead cat. All right. What do we I just killed my friend.
Speaking of cat. Can we talk about the cat litter thing for 2 seconds? Because I feel
God. Okay, yes. I'm gonna go on mute because actually you can hear the cat jingling in the background. So there's a cat here.
I want to see the cat. Can we get the cat?
No dead cats. Can we see the cat?
Can we see the cat?
There's a part of this thing happening here in the background. I was like, are they going to be able to make it?
What's the purpose of a live show? Look, Marlon Brando picked up the cat on the set of The Godfather. Yeah. It's in the movie.
Here comes the cat. Okay. Here comes the cat and the cat's owner.
I want to see the cat. Hi. Okay.
This is him. Hi, baby.
Oh my God! Look at that cat.
Oh, no. It's a meet and greet.
Okay, that cat looks as much like that dog as dogs and cats are allowed to look alike, I think.
I'm pretty sure that cat is bigger than this dog.
He's actually looking at the dog. He's like, I'm out of here. He is the smartest cat ever. He's out. Okay, that was Blick.
Real quick. This is going to take 30 seconds. I believe it was NBC News that broke this story about there is this urban legend that schools have to have cat litter in them because there are students that identify as furries and need to relieve themselves in cat litter boxes. And my mother actually asked me about this, and I was like, that cannot be. So this has been everywhere. Okay, it's on Facebook, it's all over the place. And they did some poking around, like, why did this urban legend get released? And the reality is that the only schools that have cat litter, this isn't funny, this is actually awful. They have it on hand in case there's shootings because it mops up the blood.
Oh my God.
So that's what these fucking people are dealing with. They're taking something like that and they're weaponizing it to use against trans kids, because that's what this is. This is trying to get kids that are trans, that want to, that identify as, they, them, or they're just, completely trans or whatever, which is a legit thing that kids do now, and are able to do because we live in a free society and this is the best fucking country in the world. Okay. And they want to equate it with furry bullshit, made up stuff that people need to go to the bathroom in a litter box, which is not the same thing as a trans boy wanting to use the men's room or the boys' room out of high school. It's disgusting. It's vile. And if you watching this now hear anybody talk about this story, please debunk it. It has been debunked. It's complete bullshit, or cat shit, I suppose. And that's why. And I'm pretty sure it was NBC News that had this scoop about it. So
can I add on a little tidbit?
Please do.
So it's the whole like anti-trans movement and stuff, it's all about an opposition to bodily autonomy. They want to be able to tell people what they're allowed to do with their bodies. It's the same fucking shit as the abortion shit. It's literally the same thing. It's the same thing as the anti-LGBT movement. It's opposition to bodily autonomy.
Yeah. It's anti-privacy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in a word, fascists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is fashion. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Excellent point. Excellent
Oh,
point.
there
Okay.
everybody's doing. Oh my. Yeah. Oh, trans kids need all the support.
Yeah, they do. It
Thank
is
you,
true.
Scott.
I've said this a bunch of times, but societies are only as good as, society should be judged on how they protect and whatever they're the weakest members, the most vulnerable members of society.
Yeah.
And right now, especially trans kids, are those members of society.
Yeah.
And if there are politicians out there that aren't for protecting them, like that stupid idiot moron that Jon Stewart skewered. Oh my God, Jon Stewart. Where have you been hiding that? My goodness.
Just keep asking. You just got to keep going.
Just keep asking. There's no talking point there.
And you can break them down.
These are evil people. Okay.
Yeah.
So our society needs to protect the vulnerable. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I believe very fundamentally. Okay.
And to tie that back in, can we tie that back in though? Because to tie that back in, what is the exact opposite of what Alex Jones is doing by maligning the victims of the parents whose children were victims of murder? Is not protecting the weakest members of our society, right? He is literally attacking the people who at that moment are in their weakest because they've lost their babies to the fucking shooting.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't trust anybody who comes after someone who's grieving that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody. Read between the lines. Okay.
Read between the lines. Okay.
Announcements?
All right. Announcements. And then we're moving on. I'm keeping a tight ship tonight.
Lou needs another beer. I know.
You know what's sad is that I'm hungover, so I'm drinking non-alcoholic beer.
We had a nice party last night, so that's good.
Oh my God. Somebody in my office bought non-alcoholic beer by mistake and then brought it to the office refrigerator, and it's been sitting there for like 6 months.
It's really good. It's nice to drink when you're hungover because you want a beer, but you don't want alcohol.
Oh, okay.
You're supposed to have the regular beer. If you can stomach the beer, it's probably better for your. Anyway, we can get into hangover cures next time.
Okay. What are the announcements?
I know a really good cure for a hangover. You want to hear it?
Okay, this is a good announcement. Yeah. Give it to us.
Time. That's the only cure. Everything else is bullshit. Here's my shirt. Can I show you my shirt?
Yes.
Okay. I bought this from the St. Javelin website. Look at this.
Yes.
It's there's that lady, right? The grandmother with the curse of the hey, put the sunflower seeds in your pocket.
In your
Russian
pocket.
Soldier. And when you die, your body will fertilize the sunflowers, and you'll be some use. And wow, did that look like? That's like a Stephen King thing right there. That's my only announcement. St. Javelin.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Curse of the Grand Babushka.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have an announcement. Oh, I could talk a little bit about, because people were asking of what it's like. I don't know what is happening here. There's stuff happening around me. It's very hard to focus.
Go on.
That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it fun. It's a live show, you know.
So I want to talk about the fastball in that room of watching with that group of people these hearings. It's just, I don't know. Just I think I was talking about the fact that I was quiet. I couldn't even tune into the room. I was so upset and angry.
Yeah, I get it.
The review of it. It just, and I feel like I don't know if I'm alone in that. So if you guys all got angry from that, I think that's an important. So this is my announcement. I just think it's important for everyone to keep voicing how enraged we are that this fucking happened. And we're still in this, and we don't want it to happen again. And to tie that back around to the Parkland, right, is I listened to Fred Gutenberg today. He's a friend. It's been amazing. He's an amazing person, you guys. It was amazing to me and my family. Of just what it's like to how upsetting it is what's going on, and what it's like now for any other kid, young adult, old person, doesn't matter, contemplating any other mass murderer contemplating it. They're now getting a template of how to evade certain parts of the justice, right, where it could be due. So I feel like that was echoing when I heard him say that, it echoed to me for the insurrection. It's like, boy, they really know how to do it now. Because the only thing that they all of those fucking people that I just described that were involved in that coordination, every single one of them believed this was going to work because it was so well fucking thought out and so well planned. They just couldn't conceive it wouldn't work. And you can't take that whole cross section of individuals down to the foot soldiers, from the generals to the foot soldiers, and say, well, they're all a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
They really didn't think it would fail. They didn't. So now they know where it fails, and look at what they're doing to make sure that they can succeed next time, especially with pushing shit down to the states and the way the states are fucking around with their electoral laws. All right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I want to pivot on something real quick.
Yeah.
I know you have chaos around you, but
no, I'm good. This is our last 8 minutes. Let's go.
Samantha, this is a good point. LB, I'm angry, but I can't maintain the venom 24/7. I will vote. I'm not crazy. I'm trying to maintain my sanity. This is important.
Too,
everybody is in this same boat. We're not. I try to keep a distance from this stuff normally, because I have to engage when I'm writing or when I'm on the show or doing but when I'm not, I'm not. And everybody's got to find the balance. We can't, it's not healthy to be angry 24/7, obviously. And everybody's got to be, mental health is important. And whatever you need to do to preserve your mental health, you got to do it. Whether that's going outside. The best thing, if you're feeling angry and enraged, I know for me, I shut the laptop, I go outside, walk in the yard, take a walk, and I'm like, look, I'm looking around. None of the people around me have any fucking idea that I'm on Twitter at all, and or any of it. And that's how it is. So yes, we all do have to control. You said he wasn't a barker.
Daddy just came home, so he's gonna go run.
Oh, I thought he was agreeing with me wholeheartedly. So this is how Tito expresses his anger at being denied.
He knows a sasshole. So let's get into our last segment here. Okay. What do you mean by sasshole?
All right. So Ben Sasse, senator from Nebraska, is leaving the Senate. He is retiring to become probably the president at the University of Florida. He was the university president before. This is kind of a parallel move for him. Ben Sasse is 50 years old. He's my age. He's born in 1972, like I am. And I hate him. And let me explain why. Okay. We've been in this fight, or whatever the fuck it is. Le lutte continue. We've been doing this for years now, which is crazy to me because I did not expect this in 2017. But
this is like the original crew here, right here. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember looking at some of these Republicans and especially Ben Sasse, and thinking, here's a guy, okay? He's clearly not a MAGA crazy. I know if I could pry open his brain, he knows right from wrong. He knows Trump is bad. And he voted to impeach him. He voted yay, whatever. He knows this stuff. There were many moments along the way when a senator, one of the 100 senators or 50 Republican senators, could have actually stood up to Trump.
Yeah.
Or tried to form a coalition of senators like-minded to stand up for Trump. Or said, I'm going to caucus with Democrats until Trump is gone.
Yeah.
Ben Sasse could have done that. Ben Sasse in 2018, 2019, he could have done this. He's young enough. He's on the intelligence committee, so he fucking knows things.
Yeah.
His voice would have been important. Okay. He could have been running for president right now. Instead, students at the University of Florida, a school best known for its football team, are protesting en masse, having this fucking lying sack of shit be their president. That's the future that Ben Sasse had. Because why? Because he's a fucking coward. And he didn't. He looked at what was right and he said, nah, I can't. he was a coward at a time when we needed bravery. And for him, I wish nothing but ill. To me, somebody like that is worse than a pure MAGA moron. You know, like this Marjorie, whatever the fuck. Like, she's just gone. She's just gone. She's not in it for this. She's legitimately, gone. Ben Sasse knows better. And it's a shame. He could have served the country, which is what he was in the fucking Senate to do, and he didn't. He just chose the easy way out, the path of least resistance. He wanted to make his bullshit points, and maybe he thought that voting yay for impeachment would make him feel better about himself. His vote was meaningless. Trump was never going to get impeached with 2/3 of the vote. It was all bullshit. The times that it mattered, Ben Sasse was always on the side of the bad guys. Fuck him forever. That's it.
That's it. Well, you're making him laugh. Everybody, you had us you had the room raptured. Yeah. Well, I mean, I always say this about I've said this to you before about Ben Sasse, of like, the guy had a cartwheel, himself doing a cartwheel as a Twitter icon for years, while he was out promoting a book about maturity and how we needed mature. So I couldn't take him seriously from the cartwheel. I'm fine with the cartwheel, just don't also have the book. Like, it's not working for me. And I seem very focused on, young men, and he seems emotionally arrested or something. I'm not interested in him. Yeah. I didn't ever have an expectation from the boy from Iowa. Maybe because I'm from Kansas. It's Iowa, right? Or Nebraska? Where the fuck
He's from Nebraska. Ben Sasse. I'm looking for Ben Sasse. What I wouldn't give to find Ben Sasse. Yeah. It's even the name is ridiculous.
Even the name is ridiculous. Yeah.
But
he's a Bart Simpson character, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Liz Cheney has bigger balls than Ben Sasse.
Yeah, no, she does. And, and it's sad. But the other point that I want to make in this segment is we need to look at these quote unquote middle of the road Republicans who left. Why is he leaving? Is it maybe because he's going to lose because he didn't support Trump? That could be. But people leave. Jason Chaffetz left. Why did Jason Chaffetz leave? To go be on Fox News? He was on the up. He was in charge of a committee.
Paul Ryan left.
Paul Ryan left to join the board of Fox News. Why did Paul Ryan leave? Devin Nunes left to take over Truth Social, which is like leaving to I don't even know.
He got his little Medal of Honor, I think.
Someone's got to drive the clown car. It's going to be me.
Trey Gowdy. Okay, I'm going to share. I can't believe I say this on live TV. But I never understood, like, there was this phrase from, like, the generation older than me, like, like my parents' friends or whatever. I would hear them say, like, he's such a hard-on. They would say that about a person. I'm like, what does that mean? And then I saw Trey Gowdy, and then, like, and the Bugazzi earrings. I'm like, he's just this, he's just coming at you. Like, find something to get into there. And it never works. He's just a walking hard-on. So, that's who these people are. I'm not interested, whatever.
I'm glad they're gone, but like just lame. And one wonders, did they get tapped on the shoulder to leave? Are they afraid that if they stayed, they were going to get in trouble? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe there's something.
But I just want to say,
so many of them end up with a big paycheck from Daddy Murdoch, though, isn't it?
It's very strange.
It's very strange.
Weird. Yeah.
Maybe they're just all a bunch of Muscovites, and we'll just leave it at that.
Way to land the plane, LB.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a plane landing statement, I think.
Well, girls gotta go.
I know you gotta go. Okay, so
Perfect time.
look at that. We're getting good at this 8-minute thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Lulu, thanks so much for joining us. It's always great to see you. It's great to see you not in your closet too. Last time you were in your closet. It's nice to see you out of the closet into the living room.
I kicked the husband out for this one so I could take over our main living space.
For National Coming Out Day, you came out of the closet and you're into the living room. For literally on National Coming Out Day, Tulsi Gabbard came out as not a Democrat, which I think is really funny. And like, as in the real National Coming Out Day, everyone was like, "Yes, we know. We already knew. We already knew." Yeah.
We already knew. No less. Thank God.
Live your
real self, Tulsi. Go for it.
Yeah, live your real self. I think every day should be National Coming Out Day. If you want to come out, come out. We're fine. That's it.
Yeah.
In the society of America as it should be, we welcome everybody, other than fucketeers and whatever Matt Gaetz is.
And Muscovites.
Yeah, and Muscovites. Excellent comments tonight. Particularly, I know I say this every week, but I really mean it. Wonderful comments. Want to say thanks again for enriching us and putting money in the old tip jar.
I mean, it does
pay to keep the thing going. We got to pay for this StreamYard thing, and
we do have to pay for certain little things.
Yeah, we do. So thank you everybody for that. Until next week, it's the 5-8, and that's it.
Go to us on YouTube. Hit subscribe if you're there. We want our subscribers, and share with everybody you can.
And share it. Ask your friends to subscribe. We just need them to click the button. It would be really helpful.
Just click the button.
Just click the button. That's all we got to do. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Have a good night.